Welcome to the Port's Garrison. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. Greetings and welcome to the Poet's Garrison. I'm your host, Phil the Poet. Long time I haven't sat in front of a camera. Now, recently I saw a story in the news that grabbed my attention, and I was like, wow, I have to hear this. So, they recently exhumed the body of a black nun, Sister Wilhelmina Lancaster, who died in 2019 at age 95. And this is somewhere in Missouri. They exhumed her body, and when they took a look at the body through some Catholic thing that says bodies of nuns or certain persons who reach certain levels in the church, the bodies are moved from the graveyard into the church. So in the process of doing that, and she was buried in a wooden coffin, they saw a slit in the coffin. They looked in and they saw a foot, a whole foot. So when they opened the body and looked at it, the body showed no sign, absolutely no sign of decomposition. 4 years after she was buried. Now, how is this possible? Now, Catholics are claiming this to be a miracle, and people are going to look and touch the body. Lots, 20 of thousands of people are going there. You know, before I tell the story myself, let me share what I saw. Now, this is the first little clip, and then there's an interview on CNN. Watch both, or watch this video to the end to see this amazing story. And tell me in the comment section, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it was a miracle? Do you think it's possible? What do you think? Black woman, died at age 95, exhumed 4 years later, no decomposition. They said even the tag on her socks was still visible. While the cloth that lined the coffin was decomposing, her garments, no decomposition, her body, no decomposition. Take a look and tell me. And once again, as always, thank you for watching. And if you like the video, if you like it, then click like and share it too. You know what I say? All right. Give thanks. Check this out. One love.
All right, now to this surprising discovery that is defying the laws of science. Crowds are flocking to the small town of Gower, Missouri, to view a Catholic nun's body that appears to show no signs of decay, despite being buried for 4 years. The body of Sister Wilhelmina Lancaster, who died in 2019 at the age of 95, was exhumed from the monastery grounds so that she could be moved to her final resting place inside the chapel. But when her coffin was unearthed, this is what they found. Lancaster's body was apparently incorrupt, which in Catholic tradition means the body did not decay. CNN affiliate KMBC reports people have traveled from across the country to see for themselves.
Powerful experience, very powerful.
It's one of the most rare events in the whole of the United States.
Not that old, but I've never heard of that in my life.
Well, let me bring in Kelsey Wicks. She is the executive director for the ACI Group and has written about this for the Catholic News Agency. Kelsey, good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So walk us through exactly what this group of sisters found when they unearthed, the body.
Well, it's really remarkable, Frederica. When I sat down with the abbess, she said, we began to exhume the body of our foundress to move her into the chapel. It's a long-standing custom in Catholic religious orders to have your founder or foundress in your chapel. And as they were exhuming her, there was a crack in the coffin. And so she took a flashlight, looked in, and she goes, I think I saw a foot. And she said, I couldn't have seen a foot. At this point in the game, there should be a great deal of decomposition. They were expecting to find skeletal remains. And instead, they found an intact body. So she said to her sisters, I found a foot. And they all cheered, knowing, of course, what this potentially means in Catholic tradition.
And so you actually went as well, right? You went to see for yourself. And you and a whole lot of people can see for themselves because she is out in the open. And what did you experience?
I mean, it was remarkable, the level of detail. Even the branding of her sock was still visible. The veil of her habit was made of the same material as the interior lining of the coffin. and that had decayed while the veil had not. There was no smell of putrid or decay or anything of this. It was just simply looked as though she had been dead for a day. It was really remarkable.
And so help people understand, in the terms of Catholicism, what is incorruptible? What does it mean? Does she seem to demonstrate everything that it embodies?
There does need to be a thorough investigation to make sure that this is in a case of an incorrupt body. But what it essentially means is that there's a lack of natural process of decay, and that points to a theological reality, which is that at the end of this life, there is something more. And so people who demonstrate extraordinary levels of holiness within Catholicism often found to have these incorrupt bodies, which suggests that there's some level of closeness to the future resurrection that they might have.
Is there anything more you can tell us about who Sister Wilhelmina Lancaster was?
Yeah, she was 95 when she died. She lived 75 years in religious life under the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, which is its own miracle. And at the age of 70, she founded this congregation of Benedictine sisters. They're known for their chart-topping Gregorian chant albums, but they've also now become known for the body of this woman in an unnatural state of decay, and who is giving hope to Catholics and non-Catholics around the country that maybe God is active.
Wow. So what comes next for Sister Wilhelmina? I mean, what will the process look like to determine if she, in fact, is an incorruptible? What does it take to ultimately be declared a saint?
Well, first, on the level of incorruptibility, it doesn't necessarily demonstrate the holiness of her life, although it could be a sign of it. So in order for her to be canonized, she'll have to go through a process that will begin after the 5th year of her death, that will go through all of her writings, her virtues, her life, to see if there's anything in there that is contradictory to the Christian way. And then after that, she'll need 2 miracles, one miracle for beatification and one miracle for canonization. And this miracle, if it is found to be not as a result of any sort of fluke of the way in which she was buried or the conditions within the ground, which it does not appear to be, would not count for either of those 2 miracles.
And what do you know about how she was prepared for burial?
So the abbess told me, and it's been confirmed by the person who signed her death certificate, that she was not embalmed, and that she was laid in a simple coffin and without a concrete sarcophagus around it, and placed into the ground. And CNA did a series of interviews with morticians around the country, and many of them expressed their shock at the fact that a body that was not embalmed would be at this point of lack of decay. It's rather remarkable, according to those that study mortuary science.
Wow, it is remarkable. That's why so many people are flocking there to see for themselves. And apparently, there is a process that the body will actually be, going through this week, right? I mean, there'll be, a rosary involving, her sisters. And what else do you know?
So what's fascinating is there will be 20,000 visitors by the end of this weekend, they are anticipating. So they've had to set up a whole meet and greet system. They have porta potties now on the property. There are people in lines, volunteers feeding them just to be able to walk through and catch a glimpse of Sister's body and to pray in front of it. And on the 29th, the sisters will hold a rosary procession, and then they will formally move her body into a glass enclosed case and put her final remains inside the chapel with the sisters while they wait to build a shrine to St. Joseph where they hope to bury her.
Wow, that's incredible. And then potentially other things could happen within the next year, because you mentioned the whole, 5th year after one's death, potentially the process of canonization if it comes to that. So, wow,
That's
what a
right.
journey.
Thanks for watching.